You chew on this side. I like that. Chew.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Ouch. It's gonna be loud.
Crashing in your environment, cause pain, fear, and suffering to everyone inside of it. You lose your sunlight.
Ain't nothing in there to bite you.
They get lied on and slandered on by modern day conscious, hated on by old folks and then thrown in the lion's den. And wake up the next day in jail and find out your brother's
It's a tag.
not find you denying me. So I can give you dreams and make you king inside of this.
No, that's a tag.
Will make you fire like a lion.
He might. I don't know yet. It could be something he ate that done stuck on him. Or it could actually be a cavity. Cause y'all was eating on popcorn. He could have popcorn kernels stuck in his gum. Cause I know that happened to me a few times, and it actually was hurting. I'm gonna make an appointment for him tomorrow.
Huh?
Cause I'm gonna make an appointment for him tomorrow.
I thought we all go to the doctor.
Dental appointment.
How?
And most likely got a kernel stuck over there.
What's wrong with his tooth?
He got a sore tooth. Let's see. Y'all two go and take y'all a bath. Where it hurt at? Point to it. Just in your mouth, point to it in your mouth where it hurt. Yeah, point to it. Where do it hurt in your mouth? Up here? That's where it hurt at? You might have another tooth coming right there. Alright. Yeah. Yes. You probably have another tooth coming. That's probably why it hurt.
I eat milk donuts.
Huh?
I want a milk donut.
The only thing I could do is put some salt water over there for you.
Mama brought me a
Tinder double date, now let's friends match and chat as a pair. So I have to pick my funniest friend. Only a woman.
Alright, welcome to the chat. You can show yourself out. I don't know how to show you out. You can show yourself out. Why click it? Hi. PSA, we're about to read the Bible. So if you ain't interested in reading the Bible, go ahead and show yourself out. We're about to read the book of Adam and Eve.
Yeah, that's my home. Israel, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. I made a promise, nobody take it. I told
I told you to chew on the other side. Chew on that side. Hi. Hi, Aislinn and Ariel. We're about to read the Bible, so if you're not interested, y'all could go ahead and leave. I ain't holding nobody hostage. But y'all welcome to stay. In case you ain't know how to swim, I'm your protector, so I make you walk on your feet. I'm giving a few more people to come in. We'll start in about a minute or two. Hi, Heidi. Hi, Barbara. We're gonna read the book of Adam and Eve. So if y'all not interested in that, y'all can go ahead and leave. No hard feelings. What?
Hey, what? I want water.
Get a water. Get one. Hi, Ducky Boy. Hi, Heidi. I think I spoke already. But we are gonna read the Bible. Not that big. Get one out of the ice box. This I don't know how long this was. Hold on, y'all. I gotta go and kill a spider right quick. So I'll be right back. Go. Give me like 2 minutes. Come on, that system, come out of that lane. They got that military when I phase me. It when I move, it when I graze me. Remember Egypt, I did all that for my people. You only ever known. Y'all main ones I'm watching on my throne. Created everything, but I called you my own. That land I gave you, put my name on it, my home. Yeah, that's my home. You only ever known. Y'all the main ones I'm watching on my throne. Created everything, but I called you my own. That land I gave you, put my name on it, my home. Yeah, that's my home. Israel. Did he come on by himself?
I ain't doing it.
My phone. Alright, I'm gonna give it to 10 minutes and then I'll start. Had to go kill a spider right quick. Thank you to the 2 people who stayed. Alright. Alright, and we're gonna start in less than 30 seconds. We're gonna listen.
It's gonna start in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's all. I got like 10 seconds left. About to start now. You gotta start right now. Alright. So I'm gonna show my screen so y'all can follow along. Alright, so this is the first book of Adam and Eve, and I'm gonna just give a little overview. So this is supposed to be when they came up out of the garden, how they got kicked out of the garden, and how Satan kept basically how they had to learn how to do spiritual warfare with Satan, because how he disguised himself from doing all kind of stuff to try to get them so he could kill them. So I learned that the Most High was like a real father from reading this book. So I was like, well, let me read it with people just in case y'all want to read it too. And some people do not know about this book, but it's a real good book. Thank you, Aislinn. I appreciate it. All right, so we're gonna start off, and I'm letting y'all know now that I don't really use the words God and Lord, so you might I'm gonna be saying Yahuwah or Yahusha, or I'm gonna be saying that instead of using the words God and Lord. All right, the first book of Adam and Eve is a apocryphal story written in Midrash. Baby, hold on, I don't want to read all that. Hold on, let me pass that part. This is the what they call it, like the overview. Hold on. All right, now we could get started. All right, on the third day, Yahuwah planted the garden in the east of the earth, on the border of the world in the eastward direction towards and beyond the rising sun. There one find nothing but water that encompasses the whole world and reaches to the borders of heaven. Hold on, I'm trying to keep it still. All right. And to the north of the garden there is a sea of water, clear and pure to the taste, unlike anything else, so that through the clearness one may look into the depths of the earth. And when a man washes himself in it, he becomes perfectly clean and perfectly white, even if he were dark. Excuse me, y'all. I had COVID, so I might do cough. Um, and Yahuwah created that sea of his own good pleasure, for he knew that for he knew what would come of the man he would make. So that after he had left the garden, because of his transgression, men should be born in the earth. Among them are righteous ones who will die, whose souls Yahuwah will raise at the last day, when all of them return to their flesh, bathed in that water bathe in the water of that sea and repent of their sins. So when it said that they become clean and white, that's what it's talking about. It's talking about righteousness, not that their skin is going to turn white. Like it's talking about purification. Um, Hold on, where I'm at. Hey, you stop running around, please, and sit down. You could turn that. You could play with the game or whatever. You could turn that TV all the way down, though. Thank you. All right. Hold on, where I was at. I'm on 5. But when Yahuwah caused Adam to go out of the garden, he did not place him on the border of it northward. This was so that he and Eve would not be able to go near the sea of water where they could wash themselves in it and become cleansed of their sins and erase the transgression they had committed, so that they could no longer be reminded of it in the thought of their punishment. As to the southern side of the garden, Yahuwah did not want Adam to live there either, because when the wind blew from the north, it would bring to him on that southern side the delicious smell of the trees of the garden. So Yahuwah did not put Adam there. This was so that he would not be able to smell the sweet smell of those trees and forget his transgression and find consolation for what he had done by taking delight in the smell of the trees, and yet be not cleansed from his transgression. Because Yahuwah is merciful and he of great pity and governs all things in a way that he alone knows, he made our father Adam to live in the western border of the garden, because on that side the land is very wide. And Yahuwah commanded him to live there in a cave in a rock. This was the cave of treasures, which is below the garden. Hold on. But when our father Adam and Eve went out of the garden, They walked to the ground on their feet, not knowing where they were going. And they came to the opening of the gate of the garden and saw the land spread before them, widely covered with stones, large and small. And with sand they feared and trembled, and fell on their faces from the fear that came over them. And they were as though as wait, and they were as though they were dead. Until this time, they had been in the garden land, beautifully planted with all manner of trees. And they now saw themselves in a strange land, which they did not know and had never seen. When they were in the garden, they were filled with grace of a bright nature, and they had hearts not turned toward earthly things. Therefore Yahuwah had pity on them, and when he saw them falling before the gate of the garden, he sent his word to our father Adam and Eve to raise them from their fallen state. So anytime you see he sent his word, that's talking about Jesus or Yahusha. I don't use the word Jesus, but that's who that's talking about. And God said to Adam, I have ordained days and years on this earth. You and your descendants shall live and walk in them until the days of the years are fulfilled. Then I shall send the word that created you, and against which you have transgressed, the word which made that made you come out of the garden, and that raised you when you were fallen. Yes, this is the word that will save you again when the 5.5 days are fulfilled. But when Adam heard these words from Yahuwah and from the great 5.5 days, he did not understand the meaning of them. For Adam was thinking that there will only be 5.5 days for him until the end of the world. And Adam cried and prayed to Yahuwah to explain it to him. Then Yahuwah in his mercy for Adam was who was made after his own image and likeness, explained to him that there were 5,500 years, and how the one would then come and save him and his descendants. But before that, Elohim had made this covenant with our father Adam in the same terms before he came out of the garden. And when he was by the trees where Eve took of the fruit and gave it to him to eat. Because when our father Adam came out of the garden, he passed by that tree and saw how Elohim had changed the appearance of it into another form and how it shriveled. And as Adam went to it, he feared and trembled and fell down. But Elohim in his mercy lifted him up and then made this covenant with him. Also, when Adam was by the gate of the garden, he saw the cherub with the sword of it flashing fire in his hand. And the cherub grew angry and frowned at him. Both Adam and Eve became afraid of the cherub, and though he meant to put them to death, and thought he meant to put them to death. So they fell on their faces and trembling with fear. But he had pity on them and showed them mercy. And turning from them, he went up to heaven and prayed to Elohim and said, Elohim, you sent me to watch the gate of the garden with a sword of fire. But when your servant Adam and Eve saw me, they fell on their faces and were as dead. O my Elohim, what should we do to your servants? Then Elohim had pity on them and showed them mercy and sent his angel to keep the garden. And the word of Yahuwah came to Adam and Eve and raised them up. And hold on. And Yahuwah said to Adam, I told you that at the end of the 5.5 days, I will send my word to save you. Therefore, strengthen your heart and stay in the cave of treasures, of which I have spoken to you before. And when Adam heard this word from Elohim, he was comforted with that which which Yahuwah had told him, for he had told him how he would save him. But Adam and Eve cried, having come out of the garden, which was their first home. And indeed, Adam looked at his flesh and saw that it was altered, and he cried bitterly. He and Eve cried over what they had done. And they walked and went gently down to the cave of treasures. And as they came to it, Adam cried over himself and said to Eve, "Look at this cave that it is to be our prison in this world, in a place of punishment. What is it compared with the garden? What is it narrowness compared with the space of the other? What is this rock compared to those groves? What is the gloom of this cavern compared with the light of the garden? What is this overhanging ledge of rock that that shelters us compared with the mercy of Yahuwah that overshadowed us? What is the soil of this cave compared to the garden land? Does this earth scattered with stones compare to that garden planted with delicious fruit trees?" And Adam said to Eve, "Look at your eyes and at mine, which before held angels praising in heaven without ceasing. Now we do not see as we did. Our eyes have become of flesh. They cannot see like they saw before." Adam said again to Eve, "What is our body today compared to what it was in former days when we lived in the garden?" After this, Adam did not want to enter the cave under the overhanging rock. He never wanted to enter it again, but he bowed to Yahuwah's command and said unto himself, "Unless I enter the cave, I shall again be a transgressor." Then Adam and Eve entered the cave and stood praying in their own tongue, unknown to us, which they knew well. And as they prayed, Adam raised his eyes and saw the rock in the roof of the cave that covered him overhead. This prevented him from seeing either heaven or Elohim's creatures. So he cried and beat his chest hard until he dropped and was as dead. And Eve said, crying, for she believed he was dead. Then she got up, spread her hands towards Elohim, appealing to him for mercy and pity, and said, "O Elohim, forgive me my sin, the sin which I committed, and don't remember it against me. For I alone caused your servant to fall from the garden in this condemned land, from light into this darkness, and from the house of joy into this prison. O Elohim, look at your servant falling in this manner, and bring him back to life, that he may cry and repent from his transgression, which he committed through me. Don't take away his soul at this time, but let him live so that he may stand after the measure of his repentance, and do your will as before his death. But if you do not bring him back to life, then, O Elohim, take away my own soul, so that I will be like him, and leave me not in this dungeon alone. For I could not stand alone in this world without him. For you, O Elohim, caused him to fall asleep, and took a bone from his side, and placed the flesh back in its place by your divine power. And you took me, the bone, and made me a woman, bright like him, with heart and reason and speech, and flesh like unto his own. And you made me after the likeness of his looks. By your mercy and power, O Elohim, I are one. I and he are one. And you, O Elohim, are our creator. You are he who made us both in one day. Therefore, O Elohim, give him life so that he may be with me in this strange land, while we live in it due to our transgression. But if you will not give him life, then take me, even me like him, that we may both die in the same day." And Eve cried bitterly and fell on our father Adam because of her great sorrow. But Elohim looked at them, for they had killed themselves through great grief, and he decided to raise them up and comfort them. Therefore he sent his word to them that they should stand and be raised immediately. And Elohim said to Adam and Eve, "You transgressed of your own free will until you came out of the garden in which I had placed you. Of your own free will have you transgressed through your desire for divinity, greatness, and an exalted state, such as I have. Therefore I have deprived you of your bright nature which you had then, and I made you come out of the garden to this land rough and full of trouble. If only you had not transgressed my commandment and kept my law, and had not eaten of the fruit of the tree, which I have told you not to come near. Hold on, I need a sip of water. And there were fruit trees in the garden better than that one. But the wicked Satan did not keep his faith and had no good intent towards me. And although I had created him, he considered me to be useless, and he sought the Godhead for himself. For I had hurled him down from heaven so that he could not remain in his first estate. It was he who made the tree appear pleasant to your eyes until you ate of it by believing his words. Thus have you transgressed my commandment, and therefore I have brought you all these sorrows. For I am Yahweh the Creator, who, when I created my creatures, did not intend to destroy them. But after they had greatly roused my anger, I punished them with grievous plagues until they repent. But if, on the contrary, they still continue hardened in their transgression, they shall be under a curse forever. When Adam and Eve heard these words from Yahuwah, they cried and sobbed even more. But they strengthened their hearts in Yahuwah because they now felt that Elohim was to them like a father and a mother. And for this very reason, they cried before him and sought mercy from him. Then Elohim had pity on them and said, O Adam, I have made my covenant with you, and I will not turn from it. Neither will I let you return to the garden until my covenant of the great 5.5 days is fulfilled. Then Adam said to Elohim, O Elohim, you created us and made us fit to be in the garden. And before I transgressed, you made all the beasts come to me that I should name them. Your grace was then on me, and I named everyone according to your mind. And you made them all subject to me. But now, O Elohim, that I have transgressed your commandment, all beasts will rise against me and will devour me, and Eve, your handmaid, and will cut off our life from the face of the earth. Therefore I beg you, O Elohim, that since you have made us come out of the garden and have made us to be in a strange land, you will not let the beasts hurt us. When Elohim heard these words from Adam, he had pity on him and felt that he truly said that the beasts of the field would rise and devour him and Eve, because he, Yahuwah, was angry with them, angry with the two of them because of their transgression. Then Elohim commanded the beasts and the birds and all that moves on the earth to come to Adam and be familiar with him and not trouble him and Eve, nor any of the good and righteous among their offspring. Then all the beasts paid homage to Adam according to the commandment of Elohim, except the serpent. I don't know why I say certain, against which Yahuwah was angry. It did not come to Adam with the beast. Then Adam cried and said, O Elohim, when we lived in the garden, our hearts were lifted up. We saw the angels that sang praises in heaven, but now we can't see like we once saw. No, when we entered the cave, all creation became hidden from us. And Elohim said to Adam, when you were under subjection to me, you had a bright nature within you, and for that reason could you see distant things. But after you transgressed, your bright nature was taken out of you, and it was not left in you to see distant things, but only near to you, as the ability of flesh, for it is brutish. When Adam and Eve had heard these words from Elohim, they went their way, praising and worshiping him with a sorrowful heart. And Elohim ceased communing with them. Then Adam and Eve came out of the cave of treasures and came near to the garden gate. There they stood and looked at it and cried for having gone away from it. And Adam and Eve went south of the gate of the garden to the side of it and found there the water that watered the garden, which came from the root of the tree of life. And they saw that the water was split from there into 4 rivers on the earth. Then they came near to that water and looked at it and saw that it was the water that come up from under the tree of life in the garden. And Adam cried and wailed and beat his chest for being cut out from the garden. And he said to Eve, why have you brought so many of these plagues and punishments on me, on yourself, and on our descendants? And Eve said to him, what is it that you have seen that caused you to cry and speak to me in this manner? And he said to Eve, do you not see this water that watered the trees of the garden and flowed out of there that was with us in the garden? And when we were in the garden, we did not care about it. But since we came into this strange land, we love it and turn it to use for our body. But when Eve heard these words from him, she cried. And from the soreness of their crying, they fell in that water and would have put an end to themselves in it so as never again to return. And behold, the creation, for when they looked at the work of creation, they felt they must put an end to themselves. So I'm going to stop right here. It's been 30 minutes and I'm getting parched. My throat is very dry. I do thank y'all for staying, and we'll start off at X is 10, huh? I think whatever this is, I'm gonna remember, and I read it next Sunday at the same time, 6 o'clock. All right, y'all have a great and blessed afternoon, and I hope this did help y'all to see that the Most High, He really is our Father to us. But as we read through, you're gonna see. All right, y'all have a blessed day.